Welcome into the podcast. Whistling and everything. Welcome to the Glory Podcast number 4. Todd Grisham, Bazooka Joe, Joseph Valtellini. Glory Collision is in our rear view window. We're looking now towards Los Angeles, California. Joe, how you doing in Canada?
I'm good, man. It's nice and cold here. Lots of snow, so I'm really looking forward to LA.
Yeah, happy or Merry Christmas, and now coming up, Happy New Year. Did anybody send you any good Christmas presents this year,
Yeah,
Joe?
I got a nice surprise. I went to go downstairs, and I went to go pick up some gifts, and all of a sudden I had a nice package from Mr. Todd Grisham.
What was it? Tell everyone.
Everyone is hyped up. It's a sandwich maker. When we were in Germany, we were talking about how I would love this little sandwich maker, and all of a sudden my good buddy Todd Grisham sent me one for Christmas.
Wow, man. I'm just jealous that you got it, man, because as soon as I ordered it, I was like, should I order one of those for myself?
Yeah, you should.
You put the bread, the cheese, the ham in, you close the top, and it just melts it all together.
See, I'm looking forward to the Nutella sandwiches, man. I'm Italian here. We like that Nutella spread.
Man, you should just pack it up and bring it with you to Los Angeles, and we can just have a field day out there.
I could have a sandwich little party.
Or make little baby pizzas.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, enough, Joe. I don't even know if you're Christian. Do you celebrate?
I do. My parents are Catholic, so we celebrate.
God bless. All right. New Year's coming. Before we talk about Glory 37 in Los Angeles, let's focus back in on what happened between Rico and Botter. Now that you've been able to digest it, Joe, give us your thoughts.
I'm still digesting it. It was just, I think it was the craziest show I've been a part of since being part of Glory, and I think it was just what we needed. The fans in Germany were crazy. We had good fights. We had fights with controversy. And, man, we get to see, most likely next year, Rico versus Botter too.
Yeah, we will get to see it again. We almost didn't get to see it at all. There were about 50 Moroccans jumping into the ring before the start of the fight. But I will say this. People have asked me, were you freaking out? Did you think you were going to get hurt? There was no anger. It was all joy and happiness.
Oh, it was all good.
They all wanted to selfie with him, so it was intense. But I was able to keep my headset on and keep broadcasting. Joe over here's got his cell phone out doing Instagram during a live worldwide broadcast.
Then there's Alistair beside me. Alistair wasn't even phased. Alistair over him just stood there like it was another day, like he was just used to it.
And he was in La La Land the whole time. I thought he did a great job, but like during the intro for Botter when he's walking to the ring, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I wanted to bring him into the conversation. And I said, Alistair, here we are. The moment is finally here. Blah, 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 blah. I asked him this nice detailed question, and he goes, this place is going bananas.
Yeah, you see
and that's it.
Yeah.
Hear a word I said. I just looked at him. He said, this place is going bananas. So,
you know what was crazy about that whole scene was Botter and Rico just stood in the ring, not even phased, staring at each other. And that was just like epic.
Yeah.
Super epic. They didn't even blink. Both of them were just staring as security was coming in. All the Moroccans were rushing in. Like, they didn't even move. They just kept staring at each other.
You know what else is weird? I can't remember what fight it is, and maybe you can educate me. I think it was a Botter-Hari fight. They brought the two guys to the middle of the ring for the stare down. And while they were staring down, I guess they forgot, but they had to play 2 different national anthems.
No, I didn't see that.
And Botter is staring in. I can't remember who it is. I'm pretty sure it was Botter. Maybe it was Sam Schilt. I don't know. But they were just staring at each other for like 4 minutes in the middle of the ring. It's like so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's awkward. And a lot of guys don't even like to do that stare down. If you watch Ishmael Lant, like at the stare down, he looks up. A lot of guys don't want to do the stare down.
What's comfortable about being an inch away from another man's face for like 2 or 3 minutes?
If you watch if you go on YouTube and you search like crazy MMA moments or kickboxing moments, they always happen there. I think one was with Heath Herring in Japan. One of his opponents tried to kiss him, and they ended up knocking him out. And those are intense moments.
Did you ever try to have anyone kiss you? And if so, did you try and stop?
Did I kiss back or no? No, I didn't. No, I haven't experienced that yet. We haven't experienced it.
Maybe on their second fight.
Yeah,
right?
Come on. You gotta wine and dine me a little bit more before you kiss me.
All right, so as for the fight itself, round 1, all the judges gave it to Botter-Hari. You did as well.
Yep.
What do you think would have happened had the fight not been stopped for Botter's injury?
Well, Botter, it looked like, was doing a good job establishing his movement on the outside. He did a good job landing his jab, keeping his distance in range, where Rico was being that pressure fighter, really trying to close the distance down. And I think round 2 would have started favoring Rico, because Rico was starting to do a good job at kind of closing in. But Botter was just, his jab was that effective. But I think the later rounds would have favored Rico still, in my opinion. That didn't change from my initial prediction. But Botter did a lot better than I expected. He did a lot better than I expected.
He was better than expected, and he did it in a way that no one expected. I thought personally, if he won the first round, it would be because of some wild exchanges that he got a couple shots in.
Yeah.
Not where he was going toe-to-toe and doing Floyd Mayweather shit.
Yeah, he was picking his shots. Like, he was wicked.
Yeah, did a great job. It's just like you said, when would fatigue have become an issue? And, especially if they have it again, if they fight again, Botter told us he would have it for the Glory World title, and it would be a 5-round fight.
But that style that that Botter was fighting is very energy efficient. He was throwing his jabs, staying calm, staying patient. So that's the style he's going to have to bring in a 5-round fight. He can't get over aggressive, and I think he realized that that's his best strategy. He is coming from a good camp, and he is experienced, so I'm sure he knows what he has to do.
No word yet on when or if there will be a rematch, but both fighters say they want it, so we'll certainly keep you posted.
Did you get any updates on his injuries?
No, I didn't. I text him. I text Butter all the time. He just doesn't text me back. But, at first it went from a broken arm, then to a ligament
torn
issue.
Ligament, yeah.
Muscle. I don't know, and it's strange because you can't see the exact moment that it happened, which is wild. And, fair, not fair, you got to question, could he have continued? Deontay Wilder, the world heavyweight boxing champion, broke his hand and tore his bicep off the bone and still continued and ended up knocking out Chris Arreola in his last fight. From what you saw, I know you don't want to question someone's injury. We saw Dustin Jacoby just break his arm, but to me it just seemed like it was just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if he really pulled the ligament or torn a ligament in his forearm, I don't think you can continue. And if you're fighting Rico, you do want to be your 100% best. I know it's a tough call. It's tough to see how bad the injury was, how bad it was affecting him. But
would you have continued, Joe?
Well, I'd say yeah, for sure. It's easy to say yes.
Tougher than Botter Harper.
You're trying to come in here, like Botter when he came up to me on pre-fight. That was pretty intense.
Oh yeah,
that's the first time I met him, when he came up to me and.
You'd never met him.
That was the first time I met Botter.
Hold on.
You got to set the scene. Set the scene.
Slow down.
Set the scene.
God, I can see him on Skype right now, guys.
I got the biggest smile.
Ear to ear. All right, here's the scene. We're calling fights, the prelim fights, and there's a commercial timeout break for like 4 or 5 minutes. Badr Hari walks in the arena, runs the ropes a little bit, takes some pictures, and then walks right up to Joseph Valtellini, who's never met one of his heroes. Take it from there, Joe.
Well, I'm standing there. He goes up to me, and I think before he even said anything, he grabbed my arm. Like, he was holding my bicep, and he said to me, he's like, "I heard what you said." And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, Todd's probably messaging him that Joe's talking smack. But he goes up to me, he's like, "I heard you think Rico's going to win." I was like, yeah, I didn't even know. I got scared, basically. At one point, I was scared because he was grabbing my arm. And I didn't know what he was going.
Was he hurting?
I was flexing. And he complimented me at the end of it, and he was like, he kind of just nodded that he acknowledged that I thought Rico was going to win. But I was flexing on the bicep. And he kind of acknowledged, he was impressed with, how firm and big my bicep was. So I think he knew.
And then what did he say?
I don't remember what he said after that.
Did he say something like, "We'll see," or "I'll show you," or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Something along those lines. I was just too busy flexing when he was grabbing my arm.
It's like you met you're like a 13-year-old that met Justin Bieber.
That's crazy.
But I remember what he said.
And it's
touched my arm.
But it's crazy because I think we're the same age too, and he just looks like he's like 10 years older than I am. And I'm like, we're the same age. I'm like, how does he look like he's so much older than me? I got to grow some facial hair.
He treated you like a little child. Oh. Hey, when all is said and done, you were right. Rico did win the fight. Yeah. What would you like to see Rico do in the interim? We know he's got a mandatory with Ishmael Lant and Atabui, right?
Yeah.
Who both won tournaments, but Lant just lost to Sadiq. So who does Rico fight next?
Yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic in the heavyweight division right now. Who does he fight next? I don't think there's a rush for him and Adekbui. I think they're just comfortable learning off of each other now that Adekbui trains at Super Pro with Rico. I don't think there's a rush, so I have a feeling it's got to go still towards Lant.
Boy, I'd love to see Rico in there with Ben Sadiq, that big
Yeah, I like it
too.
too.
I love Lant, but I mean, it's just, if you're trying to get new fans to a sport, you can't say, "Oh, this guy just got knocked out," or did he lose by a knockout, or was it?
No, it was a decision.
Decision, but he got knocked down right at the end. This guy just got knocked out. Now he's fighting for the world heavyweight title. That just doesn't fly with people.
But it's tough. I mean, he just wants to stay active, and I think with this Badr fight, they had to give it to. They gave that fight to Rico and Badr, so it just puts him along, on the waiting list. But I still think he deserves it. He did win a contenders tournament, and that's the rules. He gets the shot at Rico.
I'm just telling you that just someone coming in off the street. Here's the champion. He hasn't lost in 9 years in glory, or 11 straight fights, whatever it is. And who's he fighting? Oh, this guy. What did he do in his last fight? He got knocked to canvas and lost. But he won a tournament a year and a half ago. I mean,
that's where a lot of the heavyweights around the world need to start stepping up.
Yeah.
We need to get some new contenders in the heavyweight division.
We've got to make it so that when you win the contender tournament, your next fight is against the champ. You can't risk these guys getting knocked out or knocked down and then, bringing them back up and trying to build them into someone you're going to pay to see or, at least watch beat Rico Verhoeven. All right, for Joseph Valtellina, I'm Todd Grisham. Thanks for listening to the official Glory Podcast.